I'll sort of start with that in mind. I've been thinking about all the different conversations I've had in some of the breakout sessions and in those one-on-one meetings. And there seems to be consistency to the nature of the questions that are being asked. Even though they're different, they're coming from a certain, I consider, a lack of context. And context is a big word for me. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If I said to you, okay folks, we're going to learn how to clean a shotgun today, so get them out, let's get all our equipment out, and I'll take you through the instructions of how to do that. I figure about 15, 20 minutes into this, there'll be 30 or 40 different conversations going on, right? Boring, who wants to really learn how to do this? Yuck. But if I said to you, okay folks, we're going to learn how to clean a shotgun today, go ahead and get them out. We have it on good word from our intelligence agencies that we're about to be invaded, we've got 3 days to prepare. Now, how many of you would be paying attention, a lot of attention, to everything I said?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging on every word, making sure you were doing it right, getting it right, etc. Context creates value, creates the meaning of things. And if we don't put things into the proper context, we lose its value. So let me say, for instance, I said to you, see this phone? You could have this phone. It's fantastic, it's exciting, it's brand new, it's got a touch-tone screen, and you can do all these neat little things and all that. You kind of pull out your phone and say, well, I kind of already got one of those. What would I need that for? I didn't set up a context. That sounds too appealing, right? But if I turn around and say, see this? This is the ticket to our freedom. And I pause. That pause is important. What does it create inside of you?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Tell me more. See, now I've got engagement, whereas before I was like, I don't get it. Like, I already have one of these. Like, so context is really important in how you're going to get engagement from people, how you're going to attract people. We've been learning about what to do with people to get them into the funnel. But I want to sort of touch on, who do you need to be attractive enough to attract people to want to be in the funnel with you? You know, that's the sort of the pretext to the actual process. How do I become attractive enough that regardless of the situation I'm in, I can create a context for myself and what I'm talking about that is intriguing and enough that someone's going to ask questions. And so I think that has everything to do with you as a person, who you're being. Now, I need to make a distinction between you, who you are being, and your business, because that's one of the things I've figured out in some of these discussions that there's a lack of context for. Most of you are asking me about things that we do. You're busy doing Nikan. In fact, have you said to people, I'm doing Nikan? Have you heard people say, I'm doing Nikan? Right? I'm doing, you know, I'm going to pour something from my cousin here. He says, when have you heard an IBM person say to you, I'm doing IBM? You know, like, I'm doing dentistry. Right? We don't do that, but we do that here. It's strange. There's some shift in context for some reason where the doing is what we identify with rather than what we're creating, what we're building. And so, you are not your business. One of my early downline mentors taught me that you are not your business. So, you, Inc., is not really you per se, but your business. And I really strongly encourage people to have an identity for their business because they mistakenly identify themselves as their business when they say, I'm doing Nikan. But what does that mean? That means you're activity-oriented. That means what you're producing is a result of your activities, and you're looking to adjust your activities. But there's no context for those activities except I'm doing Nikan. And hopefully one day I'll be there with you, Mike. And I think as you sow those seeds of thoughts and feelings and emotions, you produce the results that you're getting, and they're not consistent with the idea that you are going to actually be there. But you are doing Nikan, and you are producing results. So what if we could put that into context? where the activities that you're doing actually has a relationship to an outcome. And that outcome is sufficiently large enough that it actually includes other people. The idea that you have is inclusive of others. So if you're doing weekends so you're going to have $5,000, that's great, good for you. But what does that have to do with me? See, if you're coming from that context, when you're talking to somebody, that's the space you've created around you. That's the energy field you've created around you. And that's the vibe you're on. And that's what they're going to pick up in some subtext. And they're not going to quite get the relationship. They're going to see the phone and they're going to say, it's good for you, Mike. I'm glad you have a phone. What's that got to do with me? That's the point. And so, you are not your business. So give your business an identity. I call my business Good Vibrations International. And I'm the CEO of Good Vibrations International. I'm the Chief Executive Officer. So this is my company. This is me. I run my company, but my company doesn't run me. Okay? And my goal is to build value. I'm building a company that has value. And it has a structure. And it has volume running through that structure where it creates value. And if it's sufficiently valuable, it can afford to pay me a nice income or salary or however you dividend or however you manage that in your business. And when we do this, we start to create a different sense of identity. What I'm doing for me and what I'm doing for my business are not necessarily the same thing. So now, am I doing Meat Camp or am I building a business? See the difference? There's things that I do within the context of our Meat Camp business to build my organization, to build my business. We are all responsible for building our own business. We're all responsible for putting Meat Camp on the map in your own very unique way. And as we've been learning over the weekend, everyone has a unique way. There's no one way. There's so many ways, as many ways as there are personalities to get the job done. Because there's 7 billion people on the planet and everybody hears differently. Everybody sees differently. And that's why we need more people that have various ways of expressing who they are so that other people can relate to that. So we can attract them to the market, to the business, to the idea, to the products. So start with the idea that your business is a business. And if I said to you, what are you building? You can now point to the compensation plan and tell me what you're building. Because the compensation plan tells you what does it look like if you've done it. It gives us clear guidelines on the milestones toward the creation of our weekend business at whatever rank and whatever volume it's producing, and the income generated by that business. So a lot of people say, I want to earn this much money, but they have no context for how that money actually gets earned. But if we actually look at the comp plan, we look at the weekend plan, every time we look at it, it tells us something. It says there's 3 people involved other than you. Right? And they're doing something independently or alongside of you as a partnership that's going to produce a result, and this business is going to have structure, it's going to have volume, it's going to be recognized with various levels of achievement, and there's an associated income with having built that business. Now, who are you being as a person to attract this into your life? Because you are no question in my mind, everything I've ever researched and believed in has proven one thing and one thing for sure. You are creating your own reality. Mm-hmm. That which you have currently attracted to yourself is a condition of your thoughts, not mine. Right. So whatever you're absorbing into your being, into your state of being, into your vibration, is what's resulting in what you're seeing as a business. And so if you can get clarity of that vision, clarity of thought, identification, context, the clearer it becomes to you, the easier it is for you to attract. I'll give you an example. This building was once an idea, just an idea in somebody's head to actually build a building. They didn't know there was going to be a stage that I'm standing on right now. Maybe they thought it'd be great to have an auditorium, but the details weren't yet ironed out. It started with an idea, but they didn't go dig the ground just for that. There had to be some clarifications along the way before they ever dug that, put that shovel in the ground. That vision had to become clear. Very, very clear, to the degree where there were blueprints. Those blueprints had this wooden edge and this carpet drawn. Somebody went to that length to give that much definition to the idea, even before the first shovel went in the ground. But if they didn't do that, give that much clarity to the idea, would they have attracted the contractors? Nope. Would they have attracted the permits to allow them to build? Nope. Would they have attracted the funding? Nope. All of the things that were necessary to come into being, to attract, in order to make this a reality, would not have come into being had they not given definition to what it was that they were creating. So when you give definition to what you're creating, you're by default creating the circumstances, the context, and the condition for those elements to come into being. For you to be able to stand up on stage one day and introduce me to somebody and say, I met this person in such and such, you'll give me the circumstances. But that creation, that invitation, that connection happened long before you actually ever met that person. It happened when you defined what you were creating. You aligned yourself as a person who was in the motion of creating that. And then the laws and the processes of the divine start to go to work and make things happen. And we call those coincidences. You know? And yet, there's enough history and there's enough evidence that these coincidences can be very predictable. Oh, I may not know what your name is. I may not know what you look like. But I do know you'll come into my life because I've set that in motion. And I walk every single day in the faith that I know that it is in motion. When I plant a seed, I don't have to keep looking to see if it's growing. Who does that? Can you imagine if the farmers in our life planted the seeds and then every day they go out in the fields and they dig them up just to be sure that they actually are there? They plant. That doesn't happen. But they have faith enough that something's going to arise from that. But we have such little faith that the seeds that we plant are going to actually produce fruit. Why is that? Why would God give a seed of wheat more power, more ability than his own magnificent creation? Really, think about that. We just have to get some context and understanding for these tools that we've been given and start to apply them in a meaningful way to attract all these beautiful things into our life. Some people are naturally gifted. Some people, they just do this naturally. They're just people who are able to do this without even really giving much thought to it. Some of us have to work on it. But we all need to get to the same place in terms of understanding that we are in charge of what's being created here. And once we become conscious of that, we can actually start creating something pretty splendid. Like drawing a building and attracting the people. Let me ask you something. If you decided to build the tallest building in Logan, if that was a decision you made, as a person sitting in your seat right now, whoever you are, whatever your age is, whatever your background is, whatever your economic position is, if you made that decision, could you find the people that could help you make it a reality?
Yes.
Yeah. What if you made a decision to build a Royal Diamond business? Could you find the people to make that a reality?
Yes.
Yes. Would you get help?
Yes.
Yes. Would you get help from people who know what they're talking about?
Yes.
Wow, it's getting easier all the time. Will it take some time?
Yes.
Will it take some effort?
Yes.
Is it doable?
Yes.
What decides whether it's going to get done or not?
Me. The decision.
The decision. You heard William talk about this. It is the beginning of everything. You make that decision and make it once. Don't ever find yourself making it again, because then that's evidence that you gave up. So don't give up. That's Dave Johnson's message. Get in, stay in, never give up. Make the decision one time that you're going to build something magnificent. Why? Here's the big thing that brings it all together, context. Why would anybody want to join you if your goal is about you? I know, we have friends and family, and they all want to see us do well. Well, most of them do. I think somebody once said, just want to check that theory out? So next Thanksgiving dinner, when you all get together, stand up and bang on the glass and say, I have an announcement to make. I've made a decision to become a millionaire. And just see the kind of support you get. Let's see. But if you want to attract people to your project, this Niken dream, this idea of building something worth building, like this building. If you want to attract people to do something that you've never done but is worth doing, people who are capable of helping you and have the skills and the competency to do it, then your vision, your idea, what it is that you're creating has to be bigger than you. It has to be bigger than you. One of my old mentors used to say, people will work 9 to 5 for a living, they will work 5 to 9 for a lifestyle, but for a cause, they will work around the clock. And so what is a cause? I think Ben was talking about this last night, right? What is a cause that's big enough that you can talk about when you meet people, that's engaging, but it's big enough that's inclusive of their dreams and their ambitions, and maybe be something that they can identify with, that strikes a chord within them as a person. You know, if you put a guitar next to another guitar, tuned guitar, and you strum the strings of one guitar, what happens to the other guitar? It starts to vibrate and play the same notes. It's called resonance. So, who do you have to be, and what do you have to be vibrating on in order to quickly identify and attract people who can resonate with what it is you're doing and say, I want to be part of this. This sounds amazing. What are we doing here in Niken that is so amazing that no matter what the bumps and the highs and the lows, we still are here. Those of us who've been here 24 years, me. What is that vibration? What is that thing that I'm doing here that keeps me here and galvanized to this in spite of whatever hardships I might endure, whatever growth I might have to go through? What did I buy into that's got me lock, stock, and barrel doing this, the way I'm doing this? Being and building what I'm building, a global empire. Now, this empire is not for my needs. It doesn't matter. How much do you need? What are you going to do with all the excess? Hopefully you'll be doing more of what you like to do. So you as the CEO maybe are somebody who loves to give, loves to make a difference. That's an outward thing, not an inward thing. Yes, you need something. But here's what I've learned. If you take care of enough people's needs, your needs will be taken care of. And the Niken compensation plan is specifically designed that way. So you actually never really have to worry about what you're going to get. If you set a goal for yourself to make $5,000, ask yourself, what do I have to create to be earning $5,000 a month? Refer to the comp plan. If you're not sure, ask your upline. Say, show me what it looks like. Give me some context so at least I know what the blueprints are. Work that way. And that'll give you clarity. And when you have clarity, you're tuning the instrument. You're tuning the strings on the instrument so that that music is going to have a beautiful sound. And that's going to resonate with some people. Get in touch with why what you're doing is going to be of interest to other people. Not just self-interest. I'll give you an example. Some of you heard me talk about the doghouse or the skyscraper. You want to build a doghouse or you want to build a skyscraper? You can live in the doghouse or you can live in the penthouse. Where do you want to go? Now, you're not going to get a whole lot of help building a doghouse. Mind you, don't even need a lot of help, so you're probably not going to attract a lot of help. But if you made a decision to build a skyscraper and you were really committed to that, then you will attract people and situations that will help you build that skyscraper. Now, you'll make money doing it, and so will the people who help you. And once it's done, you'll make money living in it because there'll be other people living in it and renting space, and so will the people who help you do it. So it's worth building, and it's worth having built it. What are you building that's worth building? That'll attract people to help you build it. What's a vision bigger than you? Bigger than what you get? That you can talk to other people about? What are you creating in the world? My goal, my very first goal in weekend, in terms of my personal income, was substantial, bigger than anything I'd ever heard. In fact, it was about an annual salary a month. But what I had envisioned was to put Meekin on the map in Canada. So when I went to talk to people, the context where I was coming from, the place where I was coming from was, I need to put Meekin on the map in Canada, because what I have seen that this can be and represent is life-changing in so many ways and on so many levels. I caught that. I caught the idea that this is a life-changing experience, not just a product experience. And so when I went out, the person who went out in my shoes was vibrating this passion and this sense of purpose that I need to help put Meekin on the map. My job here is to put Meekin on the map in Canada. Will I be taken care of if I do that?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I don't have to worry about that. So I was driven by the need to put it on the map. In Canada. So my context was across Canada. So who was I? Then I started thinking, oh my God, that's a big building. I need help. So when I picked up the phone to call people, the people that I had on my list were people who I thought could help me. And I asked them to help me. Now, isn't that a little bit different than running out the door saying, well, I can help you with that, and I can help you with that, and I can help you with that. When it comes to building my organization, I was looking for people who could help me. And you know, there's some other people who saw the vision and the potential of this once they learned about what it meant and said, this is something worth doing. Not only can we have fun doing it, not only can we make a difference doing it, but we can actually make money doing it. Yeah, I think I'd like to do this with you. That's where I was coming from. One last thought. I saw somebody draw or talk about having spirit, or another pillar in the 5 pillars. I just want to tell you there's no need, because it's already there. You see, you are a spiritual being living in a physical reality. And your physical reality is defined by your body, by the mind, the way you observe life, the lens of which you live life, your family, which are your immediate relationships, society, which are your extended relationships, and the material, the finances, with which you have the means to navigate and make use of the material world. So the degree to which you are now expressing your spirit is telling me how much you've turned the volume down on who you are. Because if you were really, truly walking the walk of the Creator that created you, what would this look like? It would be a beaming light so bright, couldn't even look at it. Every one of these pillars would be magnified and multiplied. It would be so big, but you're living this small right now. Somehow you got sold on the idea that you're a human being. And I know it's pretty convincing. You know, you pinch yourself, it hurts. It's very convincing, this paradigm. But who are you really? Not who do you think you are, because that's just your mind telling you something. You look in the mirror. I love that picture of the cat looking in the mirror and sees a lion. Who are you? Being. Are you really being the person you were intended to be? Are you living up to your full potential? Are you allowing yourself to express the spirit in you that's screaming at you saying, you are more than what you are pretending to be. That's humans being more. That's the message of Weekend. That's the meaning and the purpose of why we are here, why we're even on this planet. And this is one company that got the formula right and is giving us the tools, not only to embrace it, live it, and unfold and be it, but to empower others to do the same. I invite you to put Nikan on the map. It's our time.